March 7th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 175 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Mike, you've got to start taking better care of yourself.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh. Even right now, you sound terrible.
Oh, I've been so sick. I can't shake this. It's been like 2 weeks. I had 103 temperature for 3 days.
103?
103. It was 102.8 to 103 for 3 days.
Wow. For an adult, that's dangerous.
Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't go to the ER.
No, I told my wife I was dead. I said, I think I'm dying. And she said, "No, you're not. Shut up." And that was it.
She used to work in an ER, didn't she? She was a nurse, right?
She is a surgical nurse, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
but we've all been sick. My wife had it. My younger daughter had it. My older daughter, who never, ever gets sick, did not get sick.
Yeah.
She never gets sick. I don't know. There's something in her immune system. Someday we're going to find out she's like some kind of superhuman power to avoid illness, and they'll harvest her blood and save the whole world or something.
Well, none of us got sick.
I
drove up to the casino with you. I was in the car in close quarters for like 2 hours.
I tried to get as much sputum on you as I could, and you still didn't get sick. I mean, everyone in our family's been sick. The poor dog, we took him in to get fixed.
Yeah.
Turns out, one of his testicles had not descended.
Oh, okay, right. Because you got him as a puppy.
Yeah,
right?
as a puppy. So they have to do a little surgery, cut his abdomen to pull out the testicle, which they then cut off. Now, that's like pretty insulting. You have a surgery to pull your testicle out of your abdomen, and then they cut it off anyway. So speaking of having your testicles cut off, did you get Padre tickets?
No, I did not get Padre tickets. But just by the way, anybody who's just tuning in for the first time, this is a gambling podcast, and I'm sure we're going to be getting to that
at some
very
point.
Quickly.
Yeah.
We actually had a call about that. Let's talk about that a little bit. We were talking about it at poker last night too, but no, I don't have Padres tickets this year. So
I just, cutting my testicle off reminded me of that.
That's good. Well, you weren't so sick that you couldn't go to Vegas.
Well, no, of course not. That'd be silly.
Crazy.
Mark.
So, we're going to talk about your trip here in a few minutes.
Yeah, it was, I did not feel well the whole time, but I still went.
All right. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. Now, in a recent episode of The Better Life, it was episode 46, Tim and Eric interviewed Scott Stratton, who used to be the co-host of the Vegas 30 podcast, and he's actually bringing it back. He and his wife did Vegas 30. It's coming back as Vegas Over 30, which was the concept of the original show, how to do Vegas if you're over 30. But anyway, on this episode of The Better Life, they talked about the declining level of service that you currently get in Las Vegas. They spent quite a bit of time talking about it. It was a very good episode. You should go listen if you haven't already. But that got you and me kind of thinking about service that we get from hosts and what have you. And at least their experience had been, it's tending now that these other casinos around the country, you may get better service for whatever reason. Maybe they need to, they want to keep you there.
Well, maybe they're trying to
customers.
keep you there, draw you there, so you don't go to Vegas, right?
Yeah, right. We've had varying degrees of quality hosts.
Yes.
Right now, you've got a great host, Adam.
My host, Adam, now at Harrah's Rincon is great.
Yeah, he is very good. I agree.
He gets right back to you. I mean, it's like instantaneous, and I don't even know his schedule. I just text him and he gets right back to me all the time, it seems like.
Yeah.
So he's really on the ball. My host before him, Alyssa, was very good too.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple of good hosts in a row. The problem, we were talking about this, the problem with having a good host and somebody who really, attends to whatever you ask them is they're good at their job, so they get promoted, and then you get another host.
It does seem to be a lot of turnover. At least that's been our experience with Harrah's Southern California. Yeah, we don't have a host
the ones
for
who
more
are
than a year, maybe.
Right. Well, the ones who are sharp and on the ball get promoted as they should.
Yeah.
Right. And then
they want to move.
And then
up.
you get a new one, and sometimes they're good, and sometimes it's like you don't hear from them too much.
Yeah.
I know your host doesn't really have a lot of contact with you.
No, I got a call from her recently just to remind me of, we've got a giveaway this weekend. but no.
I mean,
no.
Adam texts and emails me, stuff all the time.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
he's really on top of
And you and
things.
I both worked with him to plan our Gamblepalooza
Right. And he did an
reservations and
excellent
everything.
job
He did
on
a great
that.
job on that.
Now, I have a good host in Vegas, too.
Yeah. So do I. Yeah. We have different hosts, but they're very good.
They're very good. And so we have had no problems in Vegas. We always seem to get, taken well care of.
Yeah. But it seems like that is what a lot of people are saying, is that the service is declining. And maybe that has something to do with the companies in Vegas having a hard time holding on to quality people. They're trying to cut back. They're trying to satisfy their stockholders. And, as a result, and I'm just guessing here, I'm not sure that that's necessarily the point, but there seems to be a general consensus that the service level in Las Vegas is not what it used to be.
Yeah, and I think they tend to be more top heavy. So they're going to give good service to the top tier players.
Well, sure.
And then, the further you go down on the board, the less service you're going to get. Yeah. And that gap has probably widened a lot in the last few years because they have fewer people and less time and resources. So they want to keep the higher tier happier. Yeah. And so, if you're like my dad, you're a middle to lower diamond, they're probably not going to do too much for you.
Oh, well, that's why another reason people are going to their local casinos. Right. Because they get everything they used to get in Vegas and maybe more than they can get in Vegas now.
Right. Well, we certainly get way more. We were talking about this, you and I. We get way more free play at our local casino than we do when we go to Vegas.
Well, I get these emails for Vegas says, yeah, come, we'll give you $25 in slot play. And I'm thinking, I'm getting more than that Tuesday.
Right. Exactly.
California,
well,
right? So,
when you're getting, a few thousand a week, the $500 they offer you, the $1,000 they offer me in Vegas, it's like, well, I'd stay here. I get $2,000. Yeah, right. So. Yeah.
Well, anyway, a cash incentive was the reason that you went to Vegas this last weekend. So anyway, tell us all about your trip.
Well, we went to on a promotion that they were having at Planet Hollywood where I got a $1,000 shopping spree at their mall, the Miracle Mile mall. And first off, I will say about that, when we went to pick up the gift card for the mall, it wasn't just for the mall. So they gave my wife $500 in a straight Visa card.
Oh, okay, good.
Which she could use anywhere. She could take home, buy groceries, do whatever you want. And the other $500 was in the mall. And it could have been, you could have asked for more Visa too. My dad got all Visa.
Oh, that's nice. It was a choice. Oh, good. You didn't know that going in, did you?
No, we didn't know that going in. We thought it was all there. And my wife was real happy about that because, it's there,
Can you spend $1,000, going through the shops unless you buy really expensive things?
It's stuff, right. The girls bought clothes and stuff. They spent $500 and that was a little hard for them to do that. So she was happy bringing $500 home. So that was a nice perk. Stayed at Planet Hollywood. It was horrific getting there.
Oh, traffic. Oh, yeah.
The traffic on 15.
Well, you left kind of late on a Friday afternoon, right?
We left Friday afternoon about 4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrible. I mean, it seemed like it took forever. Coming home on Sunday was no problem. We just,
You left early enough that you beat the traffic.
But so we got there kind of late on Friday, but still gambled. And on Friday night...
let me interrupt you because, folks, he texted me, are you going, Mike? Are you going to go? He said, yeah, but it's going to be an early night for me. The whole time we're there, I really need the rest. And I'm rolling my eyes when I'm reading this text, right? Early night. Sure. So, you're there the first night, you're sick. How long do you stay up?
Yeah, till about 1:32.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by Vegas standards might not be that late, but
no.
For somebody who's sick.
I probably should have been in bed about 11:30.
Yeah, at least.
But I'll tell you, my dad had a monster roll.
Oh, good, yeah.
He had a big monster roll at Planet Hollywood on the repeater. He made 5 of the repeater bets, and one was a 6 and one was an 8.
Oh,
so
that's
those
always
are big.
Nice. Yeah, like 90 for one.
And, you roll 6 6s and 6 8s. Yeah. You're going to have you just on what you made on 6 and 8 is good, right?
Right.
And then he hit a bunch of hard ways. Anyway, that kind of put him and I up for the trip. And I ended up squeaking out a tiny win, and my dad tiny
for the weekend.
Loss for the weekend.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But that's what propelled me most of the time was that money there. A couple other highlights. Brent from Georgia came by and played craps with me for a while on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Vegas by himself.
Okay.
We were talking about that. It was kind of interesting. He's like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever do this again. But, he's having another child. And so this was his chance to get away before the baby's born.
And he's a professor from Georgia, right? I've corresponded with him online. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a real good time. I enjoyed talking to him. Yeah, the craps, it started off poor, then it got good, and we were both ahead for the table, and then it went down, and we ended up both losing. But it was fun. Oh, another listener, Mike, stopped by and just said hi. He said, "Oh, I don't want to bother you. I sounded worse than this," and so he just said hi, and he'll see us in Atlantic City.
Oh, good, for Gamblepalooza. Okay, good.
Yeah. So it was good. And a third listener stopped by and just once again said hi. And I shook his hand and he's like,
You should have fist bumped him.
Yeah.
You got to be thinking like Howie Mandel.
I wasn't even thinking, but anyway, I hope he didn't get sick. One funny thing, I got one story. So when I was playing at Planet Hollywood on Saturday, for some reason, probably due to illness, I put too much money on a odds bet. So the point was 5.
Oh, we kind of talked about this recently when you have too much money on odds.
And I mistakenly put like an extra $50 on there.
Okay.
Thinking that it was like 6 or 8, I guess I put 250 instead of 200.
Okay, right. For 3, 4, 5, yeah.
For 3, 4, 5, yeah. So I was $50 over. So the person rolling made the 5 and they went to pay me and the dealer realized I was over. So they paid me on the 200, which paid 3. And my $50 line bet, they paid 50. And then my 50 extra dollars, they did nothing to.
They gave it back to you though, right?
They gave it back to me. They just pushed it back to me. And I said, oh, you don't pay this as a place bet?
Right. Which
a lot of casinos do, right? And the pit boss was standing there and he said, no, we don't do that anymore. Anymore. They used to do that. I know because I've seen it done there.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we don't do that anymore. And I said, well, if I had lost, would you have taken it? When they collect, he said, well, we wouldn't take it if we noticed it was there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's terrible.
That's his exact words. Oh. So in other words, if they saw that I had bet too much, they would have given me the 50 back. But if they didn't see it, they might have just taken it.
That is an awful policy because they're always going to notice when they're paying you.
Right.
Right? Because they're counting it out.
Exactly. And when you lose, they just gobble it up.
Oh, that's bad.
They don't stop and look at everyone's bet. They just gobble it up.
That's bad.
Right?
Oh, that's bad.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I see how that goes.
Yeah.
So if I don't pay attention, which I wasn't, then, I could have been out $50.
Well, imagine people who aren't that familiar with the game.
Right.
If they don't ask, maybe they're embarrassed to ask because they've been learning and they think they know.
Right.
Oh, that's an awful policy.
But that was his exact policy. And you know what? That pit boss, he was the only guy the whole weekend of all the dealers and casino personnel that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
No,
Not
really?
just for that.
Not just for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
he just seemed kind of like he was having a bad day.
All right.
But anyway, that was interesting. We went over to Cromwell. And they now have 5 craps tables.
Oh, good. They used to have what? Well,
they used
there was
to have 3.
3. Okay, there was one we never played at. So where's the new ones?
The new one's right by the cashier.
Oh,
okay.
Way
over there on the other side.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
And it was full. So I had a good run there.
All still the same, 100 times odds.
100 times odds.
Good,
yeah.
Good.
Then all tall, all small. Oh, I should have mentioned on my dad's big roll, he made the all tall, all small.
You said he hit repeaters.
Yeah, well, it was a repeater table, but if
you'd been at an all small.
If he'd been in an all tall, all small, you know how they mark the repeaters, right?
Yeah.
Well, he just went right down the line, made them all.
Okay.
And then the dealer just looked up and said, well, there's the all tall, all small.
Okay.
And then, my dad continued, he made a few repeaters and then he made a point and he 7'd out and he started over again, did it again.
He would have made the all small.
He would have made the all tall, all small again. And the dealer guy was like, well, there it is again. Too bad we don't have it here. It was a great roll, but it's so frustrating. I was like, oh my God. Another non-gambling related thing, but an interesting thing. My wife and daughters and my brother went to eat lunch at Gordon Ramsay Burger.
Right, they're at Planet Hollywood. Yeah.
Right. So there was a huge line as usual, but
Yeah.
7-star people get to go to the front of the line.
Right.
So we went in. They got him seated real quick. I waited with him till they sat down. They got him seated within 5 minutes.
And then you went and played. And
my dad and I went and played.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because my dad didn't want to eat, and I really actually didn't feel much like eating either. So we went and played,
Yeah, of course.
of course. But anyway, so while they're there, Gordon Ramsay himself comes in.
Really?
Yes. Gordon
Wow.
Ramsay.
Okay.
So he's in the restaurant, in the kitchen, and then he comes out to eat his lunch, and he sits at the table next to Lynn and the girls
Okay.
and my brother. And my wife said the place shut down. I mean, nobody was taking orders. Nobody was bringing food out. It was miserable. Now, here's the guy who owns the place,
Yeah.
right? But because of the big hoopla and all the fanfare with him and a lot of customers getting up and wanting pictures taken away, everything just shut down. So it took forever. They ended up getting their appetizers after they had already eaten their burgers. And then when they went to get their check, my brother asked for the check. It took a half hour for somebody to bring their check by, just their check. And my brother's like, we could have just got up and walked out. Nobody would even have known. They were such enamored by Gordon Ramsay. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it was disruptive. And anyway, the manager came over and apologized to my wife and brother.
Okay.
And she gave him, I don't know, she gave him a voucher for some free appetizers,
All right,
which
yeah.
they'll never be able to use.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It's a-
It's like giving someone nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway, she said, oh yeah, he comes in here maybe a couple times a year and it happens every time.
Yeah.
It's just so disruptive and everything just gets all out of whack. And I apologize and blah, blah, blah.
Jeez.
And I'm thinking, well, if you know this,
Yeah. it's-
then, why don't you just have a policy like, well, everyone keep doing their job.
yeah, really. That should be
No matter who comes in.
just a sign in the back in the
Yeah.
kitchen. When Gordon Ramsay shows up, keep doing your job.
Right. Keep working.
I'm glad you put that sign up because otherwise I wouldn't have.
Anyway, that was quite a story.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else I forgot to say?
I think I'm trying to think back to the things that you told me when you got back. I think that's pretty much it. A short trip, obviously.
We played Crapless Craps at Harrah's.
Oh, at Harris.
At Harrah's. So my dad...
I didn't even know they had crapless craps.
well,
there.
they do now.
Okay.
My dad was tired of Planet Hollywood Saturday night. He wanted to go down to Harrah's. We go down to Harrah's, just him and I. All the tables were full. I mean, packed.
Yeah.
And my dad's, in his scooter and there's no room for him anywhere. So I said, well, Dad, let's just go back. So we're heading back. And as you go out that door on the south side of Harrah's.
Oh, like by the carnival court there?
Carnival court, exactly. There's that one
There's that
craps
one
table.
table, yeah.
It's Crapless Craps.
Oh, okay.
We ended up playing there. I ended up winning 500. My dad won like 300 at it.
That's good.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, the point was only, I think once it was 12 and a couple times it was 3.
Uh-huh.
And the guy actually who made the 3, he did it twice. He came out on 3, made it, came out and made it again.
Oh, well, that's good.
That table had the all tall, all small, not the repeater. Otherwise, we would have repeated the 3. I never hit an all tall, all small.
While you were there.
No.
Yeah. Well, you played mostly at Planet Hollywood, right? Where they don't have it.
Well,
right?
the
So,
only time I didn't play was at Cromwell and Harris.
Harris. Okay. Yeah.
But I enjoyed Crapless Crap. I mean, I play it the same way.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of the way you play doesn't really matter that much.
No, to me
Yeah,
it didn't matter. I
but-
wasn't even on the line. I just, was placing
the way you're doing
numbers.
it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back. Hopefully you've
Thank
been
you.
relaxing since you got back and just taking it easy and drinking lots of fluids and not working and lying down and all that stuff.
Yeah. 16-hour days.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. We have got tons of phone calls. We are not going to get to all of them on this episode, but we will finish up next week. Yes, we will have another episode next week so that we can get back on our original schedule.
All right.
It's happened twice this year. We're only in March.
I know. And it's my fault.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, well, partly the dog too with his testicles.
Yeah, sure, I understand. So let's get to these voicemails. Remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Tyler.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, it's Tyler from Minnesota again. Just calling about a trip report on a recent trip to Vegas that I took with my wife and our best friends. It was their first trip there. Not much of gamblers, but they like the entertainment side. They did gamble with us a little bit. a little too afraid to step up to the craps table, but I was not. The first 2 days, we spent not very good at the craps tables at all, but on day 3, we were at the Wynn, and the very first time I bet on the all tall small, and I'm not kidding, the first time, simply because I thought it was a cool way the guy next to me bet on it. He just flipped a nickel and said 131. And I thought, well, hell, I can do that. So I did, and lo and behold, a nice lady on the other side of the craps table ended up getting the small right away, getting pretty excited about that. And then 10 rolls later, maybe finished off the tall, so we won the all-tall small. And only 2 of us were on it. They didn't realize why we were so excited. It was a full table. So we went right back up onto the all-tall small. This lady kept shooting and needed a 2 and an 8 to complete it again before 7 and out on that. So that was a great win, as actually my only win on the craps table for that 3 days. The food was great. Entertainment was great. Our favorite breakfast place was not Hash House A Go-Go. That was just an ungodly amount of food. But it was Egg Slut over in Cosmopolitan. Kind of a funny name, but waited in line for that. Always a great trip to Vegas. Can't wait to go back again. Hopefully have a better story for you. All right, thanks.
Good. Well, congratulations, Tyler, on hitting
nice.
the all small tall. Yeah, so he was saying the one player threw out a nickel, a $5 chip, said 131. That basically means put $1 each on the small and the tall.
Right.
And $3 on the all.
Yeah, it's very common. People like to load up on that all because if, it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
If you get like the small and then you need one for the tall, it's like,
Let me ask you, when you did play all small tall this last trip, were there minimums? Could you bet dollars?
No, you could not bet dollars.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, somebody next to me tried to.
Yeah.
And they said, no, $5.
Where was this, at Cromwell?
At Cromwell,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I bet 20. Never even sniffed them.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, this is Chainsaw from New Jersey. Hi, gentlemen. Big fans of the show. I was out in Vegas last weekend for the horse racing handicapping contest, which was being held at TI. I'll spare you the trip report since you were just there, and everything you said several months ago still holds true. Anyway, under the craps table, and a guy in the sunglasses walks up with a friend. He stands to the left of the stick man. Now it's his turn to roll dice, and he picks up the dice and rolls it to his left. The short way. Everyone laughs, and the pit boss, who is very friendly, tells him to shoot it straight ahead. The other way. His friend says, shoot it straight ahead. So he picks up the dice and literally tosses it in a nice arc straight ahead and into the pit. Now the pit boss rightfully loses it and says he can't roll. And she was friendly all along, but this obviously made her upset. His friend quickly says, he's blind. So the pit boss realizes what's going on now, says it's fine, and moves him to the top of the table, so it's a lot easier for him to throw. He eventually sevened out pretty quickly, but came back later and hit a few points, which made the table go crazy, of course. Very cool to see. I was wondering if you've ever seen anything like that before. And what's the craziest throw you've seen? For me to watch these 2 dice go perfectly high in the air and directly into the pit was shocking. Ever see someone get mad and use the dice as a weapon and try to hit somebody with it? Thanks for your time. Good luck, guys.
You've never seen the dice actually go into the pit, right?
Yeah.
Perpendicular the way they should.
Well,
throw.
I have seen them go into the pit.
Well, yeah, but not like thrown.
Yeah,
like I say,
straight.
perpendicular the way you're supposed to throw.
Remember
them.
that one drunk guy? And I want to say it was at. I'm trying to think of where it was. He was a big bettor, and he had turned his back and was shooting the dice like over his shoulder.
Oh boy, yeah.
Remember, he was real
that must have been a
drunk.
long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Was it?
And they were putting up with it because he was betting a ton of money.
I remember now. It was Mirage.
It was Mirage.
That's
You're right.
yes.
Exactly. Mirage.
That's right. And he had so much money out there that they didn't say a word to him. We were so upset. That's right.
And
yes.
he was so ridiculous until finally he threw him backwards over his shoulder. They went sideways into the pit and hit pit boss in the face.
Yeah, right.
And I mean,
that's right.
kind of cut her cheek a little bit or something. Remember?
Yeah. Yes.
Then they said to him, "Look, you got to turn around and do it properly."
I do remember that. Oh,
yeah. That was the worst I've ever seen.
That's probably now that you say it, that's the worst I've ever seen. It's interesting when we were presenting our craps lesson at Golden Gate a few years back during VIMF. I know there was a couple. I never got their names, but they were blind. They were and it looked like maybe they weren't completely blind, but they were certainly legally blind.
Right.
And they were there to learn, and they threw the dice, and they were having a good time, and the dice didn't go anywhere crazy. They kind of knew what they were doing. But,
I think they were just, legally blind, poor sighted.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But completely blind would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Well, I mean, pretty cool to see somebody playing craps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Next call from our soon-to-be good friend, Vinny. We haven't met him yet. I think he's going to be at Gamblepalooza. So we'll
very
see him
good.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Vinny Chens from the 7 Out Pod. I just wanted to call a little trip review and a question for you as well. Just getting back from a trip to Parks in Bensalem, PA, where I played a poker tournament that did not turn out too well, and afterwards went and hit the craps table for a while. I want to thank you because, I never thought to go and actually get a marker from the cage and not get cash and actually get chips, which I know you guys mentioned on your latest episode. That would hopefully, avoid that stretch of time where sometimes you're walking up to a table, you're in the middle, or you see a hot roll going on and you have to wait for it to end. Now, if I actually have those chips, that'd be very helpful. So I tried to do that last night at Parks, but apparently they do not allow that, unfortunately. It has something to do with them not allowing you to even get markers for slots. You have to get a marker at the table, so that was disappointing, but definitely something I'll be taking advantage of on my other trips to Atlantic City and to Vegas. More importantly, wanted to see if you guys ever played a variant of Pai Gow called Asian Fortune Poker or Asian Poker. They had it at Parks. I tried it out last night. Was excited at first and then got kind of bored rather quickly, but it seems like there's 3 hands you make. A 4-card hand, a 2-card hand, and a 1-card hand. And you have to win 2 out of 3 to win the bet. And it looks like it pays out even money, no commission. Didn't really look too much into it, but was curious if you had an experience with it. Love the show as always, and look forward to, hopefully rolling dice with you both at Gamblepalooza. Thanks so much.
I could have sworn that we had talked about Asia Poker before on the show.
Yeah.
But I went back, and if we did, I didn't put it in any of the show notes, so I guess not.
Okay, maybe not.
But yeah, we have played it. We played it. They have it out here at Harrah's. Yeah, it's just like you said. It's like Pai Gow, except you make 3 hands.
Right.
And it has similar Pai Gow rules. The 4-card hand has to be highest, and the 2-card hand next highest, and then the 1-card hand, is your low hand, but you want to try to make it as high as possible.
Right.
One thing I don't like about the game, and one of the reasons we haven't continued to play it, is when the dealer is able to play an ace in the 1-card hand.
Right.
Well, they beat everybody
Right.
for that hand. Now, you may still, eke out a win, but that is so powerful. And the fact that there's also a joker in the deck, so there's like an extra ace in there.
Right.
So anytime the dealer is playing the ace in that 1-card hand, it's like,
they're going to win. Right.
So... And that got pretty tiresome pretty quickly. So I think that's one of the reasons it hasn't caught on, but they still have it.
Sure.
Up at, one table.
Well,
but,
somebody must be playing it, right? They've got it.
Yeah. It's interesting, Vinny talking about getting a marker at the cage, and on his podcast too, the 7 Out podcast, he actually, made it clear when I was listening to the phone call, I'm thinking, what? He had said that if you want a marker to play slots, you have to go to a table game and get the marker there. And then take the chips up to the cashier to get cash, so then you can go play it at a slot machine.
Well, that's
that doesn't. Yeah, that's terrible. But.
That is weird. Well, I'll tell you what. That's my new thing.
Yeah, getting the.
I get chips when I buy in now from the cashier.
Yeah,
I did that last night. That way, if I walk up to the table and, like Vinny said, if it's in the middle of a roll, I just start playing.
So I'm sorry. You said last night.
Yeah, last night.
You went to the casino last night.
I had to get my free play. Mark, I was done with work by 10 p.m. I had plenty of time to go get my free play, get home, and get to bed.
Oh, my gosh. It's our poker night, right? Mike wasn't there, but, I get this text from him. Yeah, I'm almost there. I'm looking at the time. What? Oh, my God.
Yeah, you wonder why the dog had to have a testicle removed.
Yeah, I'm wondering why we've had to delay the show twice this year. All right, yeah, looking forward to meeting you, Vinny, at Gamblepalooza. All right, next call.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Landry from Orlando. I've started listening to podcasts, narrowed it down to 2 of my favorite ones that I enjoy listening to. Congratulations, you guys made the list. And I really the reason why I enjoy your podcast is all the discussions about craps, which leads me to one of the questions I had. When you guys play the tables, what's your options or preference between making a horn bet versus a C&E bet only on the come-out roll and not any other time? Because usually I use those bets for the come-out rolls, but also to make bets for the dealers. And I'm curious to know what you prefer. If I do the horn bet, I would do a $5 horn with a ace deuce high which ends up being expensive because that ends up being a $10 bet if I want to make a bet for the dealers. The C&E is a little bit cheaper because I can do a $6, $3 two-way bet for me and the dealers, but you don't get paid out as much. Curious to know which is your preference. Obviously, to make the bankroll last, the C&E sounds good, but yet the horn bet's nice when it does hit. Also, do you list the times you guys are in Vegas? Like to make 2 trips to Vegas a year. It'd be nice to do a craps game with both you two and also have Dr. Mike make some of the hard weight bets I hear about he makes for the players at the tables. That'd be fun. Anyway, I'd be curious to know what your response is to the horn versus C&E bet. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
We don't have a list that you can look up online that shows when we're going to be in Vegas, but as long as you listen to the show, we always talk about when we're going. And the two Vegas, the 2 Vegas trips that we have coming up are over Memorial Day for 360 Vegas Vacation 8, and then for the summit in October. We don't have the dates for that yet. And of course, we're going to Atlantic City for Gamblepalooza on April 13th. Now, I'll let you speak to C&E versus horn because I never make those bets.
My suggestion is, why do horn or C&E? Why not make a world bet?
Okay, so
he's going to make a $5 horn high ace deuce,
right? Which
is good. I mean, I'm all on board with that. I'd rather do that than the C&E, but why not just take the $5 and make a world bet?
Okay, and again, for people who may not know, a world bet is a horn bet plus an any 7 bet.
Any 7.
So it's basically 5 separate bets on 2, 3, 7, 11, and 12. Okay,
yeah. So that dollar, instead of being high on the ace deuce,
so you're suggesting he throw out $10 as a 2-way world. Okay.
Yeah.
5 for him and 5 for the dealers.
Yeah,
okay.
if he wants to do that for the dealers. I mean, that's what I do, right?
Right.
Every night I put $30, 25 world for me, 5 for the dealers.
But now now
I parlay it to the horn if it hits.
Right. Well, we know you do that.
Yeah.
But he's also talking about how much money is going out there. Because if he were to make a C&E bet.
Yeah, you could do $3.
Yeah, well, he could do $2.
Right.
2 for himself and 2 for the dealers, right? So.
Right.
But your suggestion is to do a $5.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know what his bankroll is. If your bankroll is limited, then do the C&E. But if it's not eating a big chunk of your bankroll on the come out, why not do a world? Or if you want to do the horn, just do the horn. Horn high ace deuce is great.
Well, and
that would be my second choice.
What I would say, don't let Bear Maulings hear that, because he got into a discussion online with Judge Dave about how he can't believe how people do horn high ace deuce.
Right.
I'll talk to you about it after.
Yeah, I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say.
But I would say, again, as somebody who doesn't make those bets, go ahead and do just the C&E.
Right.
Because the dealer's going to be very happy when it hits anyway, right?
Sure. I don't know if that really answers his question or not, but Landry, come and play with us and you'll see exactly how I do it.
All right, let's hear from local boy Joe.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Joe Q from Prairie Mesa. I decided to check out Hamul Casino recently just to see what all the buzz was about. A few comments. 1, it's a very nice, newer building, but the elevators to and from the parking garage sounded like chainsaws. Has anyone else ever noticed that? 2, I like that the tables are $5 because I'm a low roller, but of course they only have one craps table and it's always packed. Their card point system is a bit different from Harrah's Southern California, I guess for now, so it took me a second to figure it out. 3, and finally, there was this guy next to me who would randomly yell out before each roll, "Make it wet! Make it wet!" Is that something anyone has ever heard at a craps table before? Or might that just be his own version of muckleshoot? Anywho, see you around the neighborhood.
Make it wet.
Yeah. Now, I haven't heard that at a craps table. I have heard that elsewhere.
All right, just nodding. Well, I challenge you next time we're out there to make it wet.
Oh, Friday night.
Okay, Friday
night. You would just remind me because I'll forget. But you remind me. I'll just yell out, "Make it wet."
I know you will. I know you will.
And everyone will, what? I'm like, well, I got to have something new for the new crap system. Make it wet.
Oh, that's right. So they have converted, and you actually played that last night. They've converted the card craps to the way that I would say most of the California casinos do it. Yeah, and it's similar to how Hamul Casino does it too.
And I felt wet after playing.
Oh, you did?
For a while, yeah. Felt drowned is what I felt like.
Okay. We haven't been to Hamul in a while, but I never noticed any loud noises in the elevators. No. I know it was always crowded. We'd go on the weekend and those elevators just filled up. It was the only way kind of in and out of the parking garage.
Well, I'll tell you, the elevators at Harrah's Rincon,
Yeah.
Those are bad.
Those are a little scary. Going
Those
up to
are
the
very scary.
Yeah, they jump and they.
The other night,
they,
it jumped and made some weird noise, and I was the only one in there, and I was thinking, oh my God. I mean, seriously, for a second, I thought, I'm going to fall to my death 4 floors.
Yeah, well, it's a hydraulic. It's not like it's on cable, so I don't think you're going to fall to your death.
I think the whole thing will just come apart.
Oh, it just break the whole cylinder and everything.
The floor will
just
come out or something. I don't know.
Well, that's why I always take the stairs.
It makes
you
some
know
weird
that, right?
noises.
When we go
Yeah.
to the parking garage,
Yep.
you and your dad go to the elevator. Well, he has to, obviously, he's in his scooter, and I say, "I'll see you down there." And I
Yeah,
take
if
the
I
stairs.
wasn't so fat and out of shape, I would take the stairs.
That's
too.
good. It might help you get into a healthy mode here if you exercise.
Start
a little
taking the
bit
stairs.
more.
All right,
Yeah.
that's what I'll do. From now on, I'm going to take the
just-
stairs and I'm going to yell, "Make it wet."
The make it wet, I believe.
Yeah, right.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Jesse from Central Texas. Hey, I'm just giving you a call to tell you guys a few things. First off, I want to let you guys know that I love y'all's podcast. Been listening to y'all for about a month or a month and a half now. Started at the end and going in reverse. It's pretty counterintuitive, but I'm about halfway through 2017. I really enjoy it. Been playing poker for about 7 years and kind of got bored with that. So the last 2 or 3 years, I've been playing craps pretty exclusively, and I love it and everything about it. So I love y'all's podcast and I love all the information and stories that you guys share. The second thing I wanted to say is on Sunday I'm going to Vegas. Going to be staying at Excalibur, visiting some of the South Strip casinos, probably hitting downtown. We got a couple of Vegas newbies going with me and my wife, so we'll be hitting probably some touristy attractions, things at least the first day or two. But we'll be staying there, so I'll call you guys after that trip and give you the good, bad, and ugly on that. And thirdly, I wanted to say that as an avid gambler, I haven't even gone on my first trip, and I'm already planning a second one. My birthday's coming up here pretty quick, and I was hoping to take a road trip to some weekend gambling. Unfortunately, living in Central Texas, my gambling options are pretty dry. We don't have anything but horse racing and lottery here, pretty much. There is one Indian casino, Dr. Mike, you may enjoy the name of this one, but it's the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle in Eagle Pass, ran by the Kickapoo Indians. But that's about a 5.5 hour drive or so from me. So I won't be going to Oklahoma. Gambling sucks up there. So I was hoping to go to Louisiana. I was wondering if you guys have any trip reports in any of y'all's archives that you're aware of any Louisiana casinos. So far, I don't recall any gamblers talking about that when you call into the show. So I was hoping to see if you can help me with that or have any recommendations, anything hopefully closer to Texas would be great. But I enjoy the show and wish you guys the best of luck in y'all's future casino trips. And hopefully I will have a positive trip report for you guys when I call next week. Have a good one.
I can't think of many, if any, reviews that we've gotten from Louisiana casinos.
No.
I know you went years ago, like 20 years ago, right?
Years ago.
So anything that you'd have to say probably wouldn't be relevant anymore.
No,
but,
it was on that lake, that boat.
Yeah. Was it Harrah's?
No, it was not Harrah's.
Oh, okay.
It was
but it was a riverboat casino.
It was a riverboat casino,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jesse,
Harrah's wasn't built then.
Oh, okay. Jesse, you might want to check with the Denton, Dallas, and Beyond podcast. You know, they're also Texas, and I know they go to Oklahoma quite a bit, but sometimes they go to Louisiana, and also Vice Lounge Online. You know, Tony and Jason. In fact, I think they're going to Louisiana for a tour of some of the distilleries there here soon. So they probably would have a little bit more information. Or if anybody out there, you know, has some recommendations for Louisiana casinos, call in, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, up next, Anthony.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Anthony from Connecticut. I have a dealer mistake story I thought was kind of cool. I was playing at Mohegan, and I was playing one of the theater-style roulette, sections. And I was sitting in the front row teaching my girlfriend how to play roulette. So we're playing for a little while, and I'm looking at my screen, I'm looking at her screen, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my screen, and I hear the ball spinning around in the wheel. And I looked down at my screen and I noticed that there's still several seconds left before, the bets are called off. And so I'm sitting in the front row of the auditorium thing and I'm looking at the dealer and I see the ball hit 4. So I put $3 on 4, thinking, there's no way that this could go through. And sure enough, it paid me out.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I kick myself every day and every time I think of it for not putting more money down when I saw that happen. I also wanted just to mention that in some past episodes, you were wondering a good app on your phone or on your computer to play craps on. I use something called PokerIst, PokerIST, and it has a bunch of casino games on there, and frankly, it's one of the easiest apps I'm able to use. It's on for iPhone and on the App Store. But you guys have a great podcast, and I love listening to it. Thanks.
All right, I'll have to check that out. Pokerist. And also, listener Jeff, who we saw a few weeks ago at Harris, he recommended the Aw Craps app for the phone. Yeah, like you said, Craps, AW Craps. So, yeah, we'll have to check those out. Yeah, the thing is, Anthony, if you had put more money on it, you might not have gotten paid. Right. Because then they would have said, hey, this was wrong. Mistake. As it was, you were pass posting, but I would say in this case, it was not cheating, in my opinion.
No,
because an electronic machine is allowing you to do it. Right. So it's something that they need to be aware of. But yeah, if you'd put a big chunk of change on it, it probably would have raised some alarm, and they would have said, no, we're not going to give it to you. So.
Yeah. Plus, you just got to be happy.
You beat the system.
You beat it once, anyway.
All right, let's hear from Neil about Atlantic City.
Hey, guys, it's Neil calling from Maryland. I have an AC trip report. It's been a while since I've been there, but I had the 2 comp nights at Ocean, and I played a little bit at Ocean. I got to be honest, I wasn't that impressed with kind of the crew or the casino itself. It seemed very overwhelmingly big and a lot of wasted space, and if anybody else can agree, those elevators are frightening, especially seeing a lot of intoxicated people on those elevators, the ones that go right over the casino floor. They're pretty bad.
Just to correct Neil there, he just misspoke. He's talking about those escalators, that go up.
The real
right?
tall escalators.
And you and I have been on those when it used to be Revel, right? Yeah, they are kind of scary, although...
They're very tall.
Yeah, that's the thing. They go so long. If you look over the side, but as long as you stay in the middle, you're okay. As long as you don't.
But you're just in the middle, frozen. I don't want to move.
They are something, though.
Yeah, well, you hear all those stories about people getting caught in escalators. Right?
Well, yeah, there are escalator disasters, but I would say if you just stand in the middle,
escalator, the movie,
step off, when you're supposed to, you're probably going to be okay. Now, if the whole thing collapses,
wear closed-toed shoes.
Oh, that's true. I remember when I was little, at what used to be Qualcomm Stadium, right? Years ago when I was a kid, they had those big escalators going up and down to the upper level. And one time, the escalator appeared to be broken. My dad and I had to walk down, and sure enough, some kid had kind of been, pushing his foot down real hard. And at the bottom, the escalator got his shoe.
Got
and spit his foot out, luckily, but still he was crying.
Oh, God. Hey, in New York City, the original Macy's, they still have wooden escalators.
Really?
Yeah, the top couple floors have wooden escalators. Yeah. Yeah. You get splinters on those.
Yeah, well,
that's a scary thing.
Even
those.
with boots on, you get splinters. You could have some steel-toe boots, still get them.
So I kind of meandered around. I had played a little bit of resorts, but mostly at Bally's. It seems like Bally's consistently has $5 tables, and they're not at the Wild Wild West anymore. I think they're the only ones that have $5 tables with 10 times odds in Atlantic City. So now the upstairs ones have them. The crew was really, really good, really friendly. It was a friendly table, just a lot of fun players, and it was hot. I ended up winning a little money. Ate at Cafe 500 at Ocean, despite my bad review of Ocean. That was a really, really great restaurant for breakfast if anyone wants to go there, but be sure you're hungry. The portions are massive. Other than that, went to Borgata right before I left, played a little craps there. They're moving the sports book, and I played at the craps table near kind of where the horse racing and sports book is, but they're moving that across the little walkway there to the other side and building something more elaborate. Just anything for the horse players there, which, I took my father this time, and he's a horse player. Despite Atlantic City having sports books everywhere, they only have horse books at Borgata. I guess there's a concession that the casino has to pay, and Borgata is the only one that decided to do that. So horse racing is still at one casino, Borgata, in Atlantic City. Meandered around Caesars. Caesars was more expensive than Bally's. It's just, I've always liked the tables at Bally's. I've always liked the crew at Bally's. So that's kind of going to be my next go-to the next time I go to AC, which will probably be sometime late summer. So that's my trip for it. Thanks.
Good. Yeah, thanks. We're looking forward to going to Atlantic City again.
Just hearing him talk about it kind of makes me want to go.
We're going to be staying at Caesars simply because, with a Harrah's property out here, where they're flying us over there. And it'd be kind of hard to say, yeah, we'd like to fly over there if you'd pay for that, but we're going to stay at Ocean.
Yeah, right.
So
we can do both,
I guess we could if we really wanted to. All right, next call. Brian has a question.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Brian from Wichita. Got a quick question for you. I don't have a local Caesars casino here, but I do like to gamble there in Kansas City, and Lake Tahoe, and Vegas. So I'd like to ask you about the Diamond in the Day challenge. I'm wanting to see if maybe I don't know if there's a tier credit advantage play that I could find in the casino. I know, I'm going to have a negative EV game, but how do I get those tier credits? It's kind of a two-part challenge. Number one, I got to play a certain amount. I got to get those 5,000 tier credits to get the bonus in a day. And then that's the second part of it is I have to get that all in one day. So for a guy that doesn't quite have Dr. Mike's bankroll, I've seen some theories up to where you could find a video poker machine that maybe plays multi-hand and has a full pay table. So then I could generate a lot of hands at a pretty good EV and get a lot of tier credit in a short amount of time. Or like I could play the bubble craps and put down the don't pass and then also place the point. So I'm covering both sides. My only exposure there would be on the come out roll. I could win or lose based on that don't pass bet. So just wondered if you had any ideas on how to churn through those points quickly, but also find a good EV and not have a huge swing in my bankroll. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, yeah, getting diamond in a day. So let's kind of repeat some of the things that Brian was saying just to be clear. So you need 15,000 tier credits to become diamond through Caesars Rewards. They have a deal where if you earn 5,000 tier credits in one day, they will give you 10,000 bonus tier credits to go along with it. So really, to do diamond in a day, you only have to earn 5,000 tier credits. The best way to do this for most people is video poker. If you tried to do it on table games, who knows what your rating would be? You'd have to constantly be asking the pit, where am I at? How am I being rated? You never know what's going to happen there. Definitely do not try to do it with bubble craps because you do not earn tier credits nearly fast enough on bubble craps, no matter how much you bet.
Right.
It's just not a good way to do it. So video poker would be the way to go. Now, through Caesars, video poker gets you 1 tier credit for every $10 coin in. So you'd need $50,000 coin in to make diamond. $50,000 coin in would give you the 5,000 tier credits, and then you get the 10,000 bonus. If you were able to find a full pay, jacks or better video poker machine, which is over 99% return, $50,000 coin in would result in around a $500 theoretical loss if you played perfectly. That's the other thing too.
The other thing.
And if you were able to find a multi-hand machine, that would help with the variance, and you might end up fairly close to that $500 loss. And jacks or better for video poker has a relatively low variance. But here's the problem. Most full pay video poker machines at Caesars properties do not get you 1 tier credit for every $10 coin in. Some are as high as 1 tier credit for every $50 coin in.
It'd be worth it.
These machines should be labeled. You should see a label on it saying, okay, this one doesn't get it. So you've got a choice. Either play on a full pay machine where you might have to put in as much as $250,000 coin in, or play on a machine that isn't full pay. And either way, you're probably going to lose way more than the $500, right? During a day. As an alternative, you might want to consider signing up for the Founders Card. We've talked about it before, and it's mentioned quite a bit by many other podcasts as well. When you sign up, you're automatically awarded diamond status through Caesars Rewards. And additionally, the Founders Card has some benefits and discounts that you may or may not find worthwhile. So, maybe it would be of benefit anyway. The Founders Card is around $600 a year, but you can probably get that reduced to as little as $400 if you look for discounts, or if you talk to one of their representatives over the phone. You say, no, I'm not sure I want to do this. Do you have a discount for, new members, that kind of thing. But go to founderscard.com to find out. That's what I would recommend, because that's the thing, diamond in a day, you have no idea how you're going to end up at the end of the day. No. This way, with the Founders Card, you know how much you're spending. So that might be a better thing for you.
Yeah, less of a gamble, at least.
Less of a gamble, exactly. All right, next call.
Hey, guys, Tom from Connecticut. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your great signing for the San Diego Padres. Now I have a reason to watch them. Being from the East Coast, I am a Manny fan. Second, I was wondering if you guys would maybe sometime do a podcast on bad beat hands. I'd like to relate one to you, even though I wasn't in it. I definitely witnessed it. About 2 or 3 years ago, at the Mohegan Sun in the high stakes area, a lady was playing blackjack, and she played the table max. which is $6,000. Well, that guy pays attention. She puts her $6,000 out. The dealer calls out to the floor. The floor agrees to take the bet. She gets dealt a 11 against the dealer's 3. She goes into her purse, takes out another $6,000 for a total of $12,000 and gets a 10 for 21. The dealer turns over a 3 for a total of 6. Continues to draw a 3, a 3, a 3, and a 6 for a push. Though she didn't lose, it was still, to me, a bad beat. The lady just took her $12,000, put it back in the purse, never said a word, and walked away from the table. And my question for you is, why do the dealers have to call out when table max is played? And it doesn't matter at Mohegan Sun if you're in the high stakes area, which is 6,000, or on the regular floor, which is 1,000. Anytime you play table max, they call out table max, then the pit boss agrees to take the bet or not. And all the times I've been going there, the pit boss has never refused to take the bet, but I just wondered why he was called out. All right, great podcast. Have a good day, guys.
It's generally not for the pit to say yay or nay on a bet. It's more to just let them know, because they want to keep track of all their high denomination chips.
Right.
They want to watch out for card counting, if that's a thing. Or,
right.
At the end of the day, hey, how come we lost so much in, pit 7? Oh, well, because a guy was betting $5,000 a hand. Oh, so they just need to be aware of it.
I think it's more a formality, too. And,
Some of it is,
if people are playing with blacks or purples, they keep a very accurate count of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Manny Machado. So it's funny, we haven't even had a podcast since. The thing is, it's very exciting because he's such a good player. Now the Padres aren't good enough that they are going to contend this year necessarily, but maybe a few years down the road.
Well, they still have no pitching.
Yeah, so it's still a ways off if it's even going to happen. The only thing you and I have talked about that we're really concerned about is he doesn't have a very good reputation for as far as his behavior goes. Sure, he's a great player.
Oh, he's a great player.
Yeah.
His behavior at times has been less than desirable.
And that's important to me, so
very important to me.
If he is really behaving poorly, I'm not going to say, oh, well, at least he's playing well.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to do that. So, but we'll see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right? I'm not
right. Exactly. I mean, he may be an angel here and, and hit 295 and hit 40 home runs. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, one of his teammates actually said, he's one of those guys that when he's on your team, you love him.
Okay.
And when he's on the other team, you just can't stand him.
All right. So he might be a
antics.
good clubhouse guy then,
right.
And
yeah, right. So he may, if his teammates like him and they can put up with whatever he dishes out, then go for it. The problem is, and I've been telling all my patients this, everyone's all excited. Who's going to pitch? Is Machado pitching on some days? Because they still have no pitching. And as far as I know, baseball's all about pitching.
It's all about pitching. That's right. You make a bet. It's based on the pitcher. It's not based on anything but the pitcher.
Anything but the pitcher. I mean, and you can lose games 12-11. It's still a loss, right? I'd rather have a pitcher and lose 1-0, right?
It's still a loss, though. Why who cares? I'd rather see more scoring.
I'll tell you what. It's the Padres.
All right. Let's not go into it. Let's see. The season's coming up. We'll talk about
I'm sick enough, Mark. Let's move on.
That's right.
Move on.
Okay. Let's hear from Joe.
Hey guys, this is Joe from Dallas. Just had a couple quick questions. One, potentially making a trip to Vegas for the opening rounds of March Madness. Wondering if you had a recommended sports book to watch the games at and make some bets on. Second, wondering if y'all have been watching on YouTube the Road Gambler. He seems to be putting out some really good videos on craps. Some of them are actually an hour long, so wondering if y'all have been watching those. And for anyone out there who enjoys scratching that crap itch when they can't get to a table, I would definitely recommend the Road Gambler on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Can't wait for the next podcast.
Yeah, scratching that crap's itch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few of the
We
videos.
have a way to scratch him. You just go right to Harris.
I've seen a few of those videos. Yeah, he is actually videoing at the craps table.
Oh, really?
Obviously, he's doing it. You know, they don't know that he's doing it because
right.
a lot of places would have let him, and sometimes he blurs out faces and things like that. But yeah, if you just want to watch a craps game for a little while, it's not bad. Yeah, Rogue Gambler on.
Now, how does he hide his
Well, I think he's got
camera?
it probably in his pocket. Maybe his phone is facing the table, or I don't know if he's got different
Maybe it's
cameras.
a big daisy in his pocket, like some big huge daisy.
That's right. Yeah,
he's wearing a
That's
bow
right.
tie.
If a dealer gets too close, it squirts water in their
at
face.
him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. We've never been to Las Vegas for March Madness. We've always talked about going, so we don't necessarily have some good recommendations.
And this is going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to think this is absolutely crazy, but I would not want to go.
No, we're going to go, Mike, on that first Thursday and Friday eventually.
Yeah.
We are, because, Mike, think about it. You're working otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, those first 2 days,
But
you're working. It's
I
not
love
like
to
you're
watch
watching the games.
You know, we'll be in Vegas, and you know what'll happen. We'll start watching the games, and then we'll end up at a craps table, and we'll be looking at our phone for scores.
No, we won't. We'll be looking at the big screens in the back. There are plenty of craps tables now that have the screens in the back, right?
Yeah.
And I know,
right.
maybe this is a recommendation. I know for sure the D, they have a separate area like upstairs, right? Which is like a conference room or something where they've got, table games set up and, TVs with all the
everywhere,
all the
right.
games and everything.
Well, that's what I would look for. I wouldn't even worry about a sports book. I would look for one of these.
kind of those deals. Well, anyway, what I was going to recommend is there's a Facebook group called March Madness in Las Vegas. It was started by Barry, who we met a few years back at VIMP. That's a great resource. Go on there. There's a bunch of information. People post a lot of information, a lot of questions. So it's called March Madness in Las Vegas, just on Facebook. That's what we recommend. Yeah.
I mean, the March Madness tournament is by far the single most exciting sport event all year long.
Bar none.
Yeah, bar none. But then again, I always think if we were there, I love watching those games. I'll tell you what, there is nothing better for me than working all day, checking the scores, and then being able, because we're on the West Coast, being able to go home after work and still watch like 3 games.
Yeah, right. It's right. It's like it's 9:30 here, 12:30 on the East Coast. There's still games going on.
And there's still games going on. I
that
love
Thursday,
it.
Friday is the best.
I love it. Yeah. Those probably are my 2 favorite days of the year.
We're going to Vegas eventually. Because think about it, Mike, that Friday night, we're going to be up at Harrah's.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, well, we probably will be.
Okay.
They have a TV screen right above the craps table.
But see, that's what's nice about Vegas. You can be somewhere where they'd have all the games going at once. Right.
This is one screen. Yeah.
So, like I said, we've got a ton of phone calls. Let's do one more. And again, if you haven't heard your call, it's in the hopper. So we'll do it again next week. It'll be like an almost all voicemail show. So let's hear from our buddy Han.
Okay.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Han from Chicago. I just wanted to talk about something that I'd seen at the Venetian Las Vegas over President's Day weekend. I was playing at a blackjack table. It was true blackjack, 3-2, and the minimums were $50. I thought I would be at a table full of folks who knew what they were doing. To my surprise, there was a guy at first base who was employing a strategy I had not seen before. He would not hit on anything that was a hard 12 or higher. And I didn't really know what was going on until a couple of hands in. I asked him afterwards what his rationale was, and he said, well, this way I will never bust, and I make my money by on my double downs and my splits. So I don't know if you have ever heard of this strategy working. I had never seen such a thing. I did not follow him. I just stuck to regular basic strategy, although he claimed his was the true basic strategy, and he cited some number about 28% of hands busting, and this way he would avoid busting. But even so, you have a hard 12 versus a dealer showing 10. I would hit, but he would not. So anyway, I was wondering what your thoughts on that strategy was. Also, more generally at the Venetian, even at the smaller limit tables for blackjack, some of the dealers were saying that they were trying to bring back 3-2 to draw more people to their casino. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but even the fact that someone said something like that, I felt encouraged. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. In a couple of weeks, I'm heading out to Macau, and I'll also be visiting Manila and Singapore on the trip, so I hope to call back with some reports on that journey. And you can also hear about that on Macau Cast, which I'm doing with Hunter and Eric Rosenthal. All right. Take good care. And I will see you guys at Scamapalooza 2 in Atlantic City. Bye-bye.
Great.
Hey,
Yeah,
great.
that
Looking
trip is
forward
coming
to
up
that.
like in a couple weeks. They're going to Macau. So
Right.
good luck on that.
Yeah, I'd
trip,
like to hear about Manila too. So
Yeah.
definitely call with
Yeah,
that.
definitely
I'd like to
call.
hear
And
about
again,
Manila.
listen to Macaucast, the podcast that they've been doing for their trip coming up to get some more information on that.
You know, it's funny, Han, because I know that guy. The guy you're talking about, I know him. His mantra is, I know it's not right, but it's what I believe. That's his mantra.
You know that there'd be no arguing with this guy, right?
No.
You know, nothing. He's going to spout all these statistics. Oh, I make my money on double downs and splits.
Right.
Well, yeah, I do too, but I play basic strategy.
You don't, because he's got his own basic strategy.
Oh, his is the true
His
basic
the true
strategy.
basic strategy.
Yeah. Again, we've always said play however you like. But in this case, there are some cold, hard facts. If you're talking about a good blackjack game and you're playing basic strategy, the house edge is probably less than 1%, even close to 0.5%.
Right.
But if you're playing his way, it's closer to 4%.
Right.
All right. It's just not the right way to play. But hey, I understand. There's something about busting in blackjack that is just awful.
Maybe it's
right?
a mental
It's
thing.
a psychological thing. It's
Right.
like, why did I hit? Right? If I
Right.
hadn't hit, at least I'd still be in the game.
Right. It's
So
like my dad.
I can understand.
My dad
that.
stays on 16 a lot.
Yeah,
Now
well.
he won't stay on 12 or 13 against a 10 or something, but he will stay on 16.
It's hard.
And his thing is like, well, then I have a fighting chance at least. Well, no, you don't, Dad, because in the long run, statistically, you need to hit that. But we can't talk him out of that.
No, of course
right?
not. So play however you like, folks.
Right. And
Play however
you're
you
never
like.
going to get that guy out of his no bust mode. Now, we did see a dealer once, I should say not a professional dealer, but a dealer who refused to stop counting over 21.
That's right. We did see a dealer. He was taking a card. Okay, 15, 16, 20, 23, 27, 32. What are you doing?
32. Bust.
It was at one of the casino parties we were at. And the funny thing was, he already busted. He hit 2 more times after he
busted. And then he realized he busted 32 bust.
Pay everyone.
I love that. Just keep counting cards until you're done with, shuffle.
All right, we'll have another episode next week. We'll get through all the rest of our phone calls, but that's going to do it for this episode. Want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Brian Dancer and from Brian and Sarah and from Josh. Thanks very much. Also, a PayPal donation from Coach Matt. He says, keep up the great work with the podcast. Looking forward to trying to meet up in the future and play some craps. All the best, Coach Matt. Oh, Coach Matt, you should come to Atlantic City.
Yeah, come to Atlantic
April
City.
13th.
It's not that far. Pennsylvania.
And a donation from Bryce. He says, karma donation for an upcoming March Madness Vegas trip. Oh, good luck. Yeah, that again, we someday, one of these days.
One of these days.
It's up to you. It's your work-related
we
thing.
take so many trips.
Yeah, I know. We have to kind of pick and choose. It's true.
Right.
Yeah, that is true. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Mike, how are you feeling?
Well, I feel good. I have to seriously apologize for being sick because I know people are counting on us, and I don't like to let anyone down. You know that.
Yeah,
you know
that's true. No,
my personality
honestly,
is that way.
is his personality. Yeah.
But the thing about it was I was not feeling well.
Well, Mike, 103 degrees.
Yeah,
That's
I couldn't. I
dangerous.
wouldn't have been able to talk.
Yeah.
Let I can barely talk now.
Yeah.
Well, even when I'm well, I can barely talk.
That's
right?
true. Yep.
But we're still going to go this weekend.
Oh, of
right?
course. Yeah, we're going this weekend. Oh,
Right.
yeah, looking forward to
We
it. I
got
haven't
the
played
new-
craps in a
we
long
got the
time, and
new
I haven't
crap
played the new
system.
system there. So, yeah, looking forward
And
to
they're
that.
getting new carpet there, too.
Oh my gosh, they're replacing all the carpet at Harrah's Southern California. What an ordeal. And it's
Oh,
not
my
like
God.
it's a huge casino.
No.
It's a middle-sized casino, but just the logistics behind it,
Yeah.
moving the machines and the tables, and oh my gosh,
It's funny because they went from like a dark red color,
Mm-hmm.
which is very common in casinos, to this new color. It's like a lighter blue.
yeah, it's got a blue. I'm kind of
It's
surprised they
blue.
did that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very light too.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, what about when someone spills their drink or pukes or whatever? I mean, it's going to show everything.
I know. I already saw a few, scuffs here and there.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I wonder why, who decided that?
I don't know. But
God, I just hope they don't, 6 months into it, we got to change it again. Because it's a disaster.
It's so funny because it stresses me out, even though I'm not in charge. I have nothing to do with it.
They're moving machines around and things are turned off. And they've got chairs blocking areas so
you don't accidentally
wander in there. Oh, God.
All right. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.